Hello. In a recent update of 3.0v, I added the ability to extend the render of both the editor and the front end to inject your own custom logic. So what we're looking at right now, I did a bit of a stress test and created a self-contained plugin that has a block that extends the environment block of 3.0v and allows you to use your own custom blocks as inner blocks in the render. So to really stress test this, I created a chess block that allows you to play a game of chess against ChatGPT. So what we've got here is just the grid, and it allows you to define a position and a rotation. And I'm just going to put it right here by this video, and I'll update and I'll view the post, and I'll go over here into the world, and we'll load it, and there it is. There's our block. So I'm going to go ahead and run over here real quick, and we'll play a quick game against ChatGPT. We're using GPT-4 Vision, although we're not using the Vision stuff. We are using the turbo bits of it. So I'll go E4, and let's see if it responds. There we go. And it also gives you a little message. And I set this up to be a bit of a coach. So every move, it will look at what move I made, and it will make its own move and then tell me something about, the positioning or whatever. So I don't know. Let's just throw my knight out. And let's see how it responds. It throws its knight out, and you see here advancing the knight to control the center and prepare for kingside development. Keep an eye on your pawn structure and control of the center squares. So this is really cool. It's a lot of fun. I've played a game against it, and the end games are kind of funny. It gets a little silly and makes bad moves, and it's pretty easy to trick it into losing. But this is just an example of how you can create your own extensions on top of 3.0v, your own custom render, and do just about anything. Really, this was the stress test, in my opinion, in making a game. And what better game than chess? What's really cool though about this is I really wanted to, we're going to get into code a bit, but I really wanted to show an example that uses packages that are not in 3.0v natively. So in this case, I'm using chess.js and the React chessboard. So in here, you'll see that we've got some logic for a chessboard. We've got logic for a piece. And all of this comes together for the state of the game, and it does a lot of stuff that's kind of specific to chess.js. But what's interesting here is we've got here this nonce that's passed, and the nonce is only passed if you're a logged in user. I did this just in case anyone decides to install this. We don't want people exposing their GPT credentials to an open endpoint that, I mean, it only plays chess, but still, you want to be careful with this kind of stuff. So this only works for a logged in user. And here what we have is this file is 3chessblockfront.js. And inside of here, what we've got at the very bottom, if I just go straight to the bottom, we can look at there's an event listener that 3.0v now has in the core for register front plugin ready. And what this is saying is that if the event happens that the plugin is ready to be injecting 3JS logic, it will then register a plugin. And in this case, it's a custom block render. So if I go ahead and open that up here, you'll see that this has got all of the logic for the chess instance. And you may be asking, like, where is all the block information? Not the blocks of positions, but the actual, like, the WordPress editor block. What you do is you parse through the window. In 3.0v now, there's a window object of the 3 app, and inside of that is the markup for the entire world. And you can just go through the markup and loop through it and find where your custom block is, and then assign attributes based on that. So in this case, I'm saying loop through all of the blocks that are inside of this app and find me the one that says 3 chess block. And inside of there, let's start pulling the attributes. So for every item of that one that matches the 3 chess block, assign the position to position X, position Y, Z, and then the rotation data. And then if we look at where that's actually used, we'll see that the position for, right here, for chess instance, so for each block that matches my custom block, create a chess instance. And we don't want to create more than one of these. So in the block.json, you can actually define that multiple is false, so that you can't have multiple of this block. You can only have one. And then that's how you can ensure that the game is staying as one game in the world. I envision a future where you can network events and have multiple games running and have people assigned to each board. But I want to keep this as simple as possible. This example went to about 500 lines, but I mean, I think that's kind of impressive that 500 lines can make an entire chess game that, talks to an AI and plays against you. So I won't get into all of this JavaScript logic. This is all very specific to the chess app. But this is the stuff I really wanted to focus on. You can map through all of the instances of this custom block that you have and then tell it to spit out a block for each one, or the 3JS logic for each one. And this is all on this event listener. Now, on the editor, it's much of the same thing, much more simple, but much of the same thing, where in each instance, you're going to have the attributes, which you can set here. In this case, actually, it looks like I have some old attributes. It says mirror block, but it should say chess block. So I guess I'll change that right now. Chess block attributes. And inside of here, you're going to need to use. There's a transform controller that's inside of each block that needs to, as you move it around, broadcast that the attributes are changing. So here the chess block attribute says get attributes, and it pulls the ID of the block. Now this gets really deep. You could probably just copy and paste a lot of this. But it also has a reference, and this reference is what updates the plugin data or the attribute data as you move the blocks around. So in this editor side, you'll notice we have the same listener for a, where is it? Where do we have I think it's probably going to be an edit.js. Where's it at? We've got, yeah, there we go. So we're listening for register editor plugin ready. And once that happens, we can then register our custom plugin. So this started out as a mirror block, and then it kind of exploded into a chess block. So I have some old references that I need to clean up. But you'll see here that this 3 mirror is importing from the file of 3 chess block editor. And there it is. And this component is then loaded whenever the editor is ready to register that plugin. And inside of there, we'll have, there's no longer a scale. I can get rid of that. There's no longer rotation, or there is rotation, but there's no height and width, so we can just leave that alone. And you'll see a transform mode and the plugin object ID are what keep everything in sync, so that when I'm changing the position data inside of the block itself, so you see here, I'll click on it and move it. So you'll see that X is 13, 0, and -8. So let's just move it around and move it up here. And we'll click on it, and we'll see it's now -14, 5, and 0, 9. So that's all happening because of this. And there's some render issues that I got to work out, but I'm kind of just glossing over some of this stuff so that we can kind of see the full picture of how the data is flowing. And then if we go over here to the functions file, this is where all the PHP stuff is happening, where we actually give you the OpenAI key, make an endpoint so that we can handle the chess move request. So then we say the response is going to come through, and we're going to look at the nonce that's set for the user, and then if they pass the nonce check, they can then make this request that then calls an option that has the OpenAI key. And this looks way more complicated than it really is. Like here I've added the settings page, and it's got an attribute or an option for OpenAI API key, and we use that inside of the REST call. And one other thing that you'll want to see in this file is the adding this block to the allowed blocks of the custom or the allowed blocks of the environment. So the environment inner blocks here, we've got the 3 object viewer, 3 chess blocks. So what's happening is there's a filter to add your own allowed blocks that are now inner blocks for the environment container. So we're saying here to add this so here's the filter, 3 object environment inner allowed blocks. We are saying to use this custom plugin allow inner, and we're saying that add this new block to that array so that this can be registered as a block that can be added in the editor. So if I click and I say 3 chess block, you'll notice here that it's ghosted out because we set that attribute of false for multiple. So there's already 1 on the page, and we don't need another one, right? So, and I'll just reload this so we can see the chessboard because there's a bit of a render issue. And here it is. So you can add based on a filter that allows you to add your own custom blocks, and then from there it's registered. Of course, you're going to need to register some front end scripts, and that all happens here just the same as you would a normal block. There's really not much more to it. Let's see, where else do we have some interesting things that I can talk about here? We've got the settings page. That's not so interesting. What do we got? Got the handling the chess move. That is interesting. And yeah, I guess I can look at that a bit. So we have a system message inside of the chess move, and we're saying we are playing a game of chess in the metaverse. You are playing as black. Respond only with your data in raw JSON string format, including move to, game status, and game status data objects, where game status is your current thoughts on the match. Your message is broadcasted back to me, so be playful, but don't give away all your plans. Do feel free to coach me and comment on my moves. The current game status is as follows, and then passed from the app on the front end, I'm given it the game history, so it tells it exactly what's happened in the game, and then your only available moves are, and I tell it its only available moves, and I say respond only in JSON with move to and game status. Do not use code blocks in your responses. It really loves to do that. Now, there are some ways to put it in JSON mode, but I was just doing a quick and dirty example here. So it's your turn. Please make the next move for black. And then it knows what I made based on the move history, and it knows what to make after that. And yeah, that's really it. It's been a lot of fun building this. I want to finish it out and release this so that it's actually, you know, a real playable game. You'll see here in the OpenAI settings, you can set your own API key, and you'd be able to set this up all on your own. And yeah, that's it.